Hello and good afternoon to all of you. I hope all of you are doing well and all of you are in good health. In this class, we will discuss the relationship that statistics has with research, and we'll also discuss some of the important statistical measures. To begin with, let us try to understand the role that statistics plays in research. Statistics helps us in every sphere of research. It helps us in designing the entire research process, or it helps us in designing the tool for the entire research process. It helps us in performing needful analysis of the data. Eventually, statistics helps us in drawing meaningful conclusions or scientific inferences in order to meet up to the expectation of the research initiative. We all know that every research initiative or research study results in large volume of raw data to be suitably processed and analyzed. So, statistics helps us in suitably reducing or condensing the data, ensuring that the data is readable as well as analyzable. In order to ensure this, research calls for development of certain indices or measures to summarize the collected or classified data. This will definitely ensure that the objective of research, which is to generalize the finding from sample to population, is met. Now let us talk about the spheres of statistics. There are two distinctive areas of statistics. The first one is called as descriptive statistics, and the second one is called as inferential statistics. Descriptive statistics concerns with development of certain indices from the raw data, whereas inferential statistics concerns with the process of generalization. So depending on the need of the hour, any of these two types of statistics, that is either descriptive statistics or inferential statistics, may be pursued. Now let us move on to some of the important statistical measures. Here we have measures of central tendency, we have measures of asymmetry, we have measures of dispersion, and we have measures of relationship. Measures of central tendency includes mean, median, and mode. Measures of asymmetry includes skewness. Measures of dispersion includes variance, standard deviation, and range. Whereas measures of relationship includes correlation. Now let us try to understand measures of central tendency. Measures of central tendency tells us the point about which the item has tendency to cluster. Or measures of central tendency tells us about the point about which the values that are there in the data set have a tendency to cluster. Such a measure is considered as most representative figure for the entire mass of data. For an example, mean would be the entire representative for the population, or median would be the representative of the population, or mode would be the representative of the population. So such a measure is considered as most representative figure for the entire mass of data. The measures of central tendency is also known as statistical average. This we have already seen. So mean, median, mode are the most popular averages. Now let us move on to each of this type of statistical averages. Now starting with mean. Arithmetic mean is equals to sum of all the data points divided by the number of instances of data points. So here x1, x2, xn, these are the data points, and n is the total number of instances of data point. So this is the equation for arithmetic mean. Now let us move on to other forms of mean. In case of frequency distribution, mean takes the following form. Mean is equals to sum of products, product of frequency and the data point. So here f2 is the frequency of data point x2 divided by the total number of frequencies. So here f1, f2, fn, these are frequencies. So in case of frequency distribution, mean takes this form. That is sum of products divided by the total number of frequencies. Now let us try to understand the other versions of mean. In case of weighted mean, mean is represented as sum of products of weight and the data point. So here Wi is the weight that is assigned to data point xi divided by the total weight. So depending on the requirement, we may either pursue arithmetic mean, or we may pursue frequency mean, or we may pursue weighted mean. Now let us move on to geometric mean. Geometric mean is the most useful in situation when the numbers in the series are not independent of each other, or if the number tend to make large fluctuation. So here geometric mean is represented as nth root of product of all the data points. So here I've given the example as well. So here we have data points 4, 6 and 9. So we find the third root of 4, 6 and 9, product of 4, 6 and 9. So this is the way how geometric mean works. So in situation, if the numbers in the series are not independent of each other, and if the number tends to make large fluctuation or huge fluctuation, we can pursue geometric mean. Now let us talk about harmonic mean. Harmonic mean helps to find multiplicative or divisor relationship between fractions without worrying about common denominator. So this is the form that harmonic mean takes. So it's also called as reciprocal mean. So here I've given the example for harmonic mean as well, so you can go through that. So now let us try to understand when to use what. Arithmetic mean can be used when we have sample that vary in the same interval. That means there is no outlier. Use geometric mean when your sample contains fractions, and use harmonic mean where sample contains fractions or extreme values. So depending on the requirement, you can either pursue arithmetic mean or geometric mean or harmonic mean. Now let us move on to median. Median tells you about the middle value of the data set. The formula for median is n plus 1 divided by 2th element, where n is the total number of items in the data set and refers to the nth number. But in order to ensure that we find n plus 1 divided by 2th item, we need to first arrange the data. So this will be discussed in the subsequent step. So to find the median, we need to first arrange the data in order smallest to largest. Determine n plus 1 divided by 2 and then determine the value at n plus 1 divided by 2 position. Now there can be two different situations. The situations are, what if there are odd number of items in the data set, and what if there are even number of items in the data set. So if there are odd number of items in the data set, so the first example confirms to that. So here we have data items 102, 56, 34, 99, 89, 101 and 10. So first what we need to do is we need to determine how many data items are there. So there are 7 data items. So step number 1, we will sort the data item and then we will find n plus 1 divided by 2th item. So here if I divide n plus 1 by 2, so it is 7 plus 1 by 2, that is 8 by 2. So 8 by 2 will give me 4, so it refers to the 4th data item. So 4th data item is 89. So the median is 89. So in situation if there are odd number of data points in the data set, you will find n plus 1 by 2th item or data point after sorting the data set. Now what if the data set has even number of data points or data items? So in this case, in the second case, there are 8 data points. The data points are 102, 56, 34, 99, 89, 101, 10 and 54. So first what we need to do is we need to sort the data item from smallest to largest. Step number 2, find the two numbers in the middle of the data set. So the two numbers that are there in the middle of the data set are 56 and 89. Step number 3, add the two middle numbers and then divide it by 2 to get the average. So 56 plus 89 is 145. So 145 divided by 2 is 72.5. So the median is 72.5. So depending on the number of data points in the data set or depending on the number of data items in the data set, you may pursue either of these two approaches for determining the median. Now let us move on to mode. So a mode is defined as the value that has a higher frequency in a given set of value. It is the value that appears the most number of times. For an example, in the given data set 2, 4, 5, 5, 6, 7, the mode of the data set is 5 since 5 appears twice. So these are the various measures of central tendency. So in today's class, what we have learned about is the relationship between statistics and research. We have learned about the spheres of research where statistics has a crucial role to play. We have learned about different spheres of statistics. We have learned about various statistical measures. We have learned that we have measures of central tendency, we have measures of asymmetry, we have measures of dispersion, and we have measures of relationship. Then we moved on to the measures of central tendency, where we have elaboratively discussed different forms of statistical averages. We started with arithmetic mean, then we moved on to frequency mean, then we moved on to weighted mean, followed by geometric mean and harmonic mean. Then we discussed when to use what kind of mean. Then we moved on to median, where we discussed how to determine the median. We also discussed the situations where different techniques can be used for determining medians. Then we moved on to mode, where mode represents the most frequent item. In the subsequent class, we will discuss about measures of skewness, measures of dispersion, and measures of relationship. Thank you very much. Have a very good day.